evening, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be here in Mumbai. And, you know, when we put together startup panels, we're often told, why is there only one woman? Why is this a panel? But, you know, for a change, it's an all-woman panel. So huge round of applause for these founders and a VC, a partner at Inflexo Ventures. Again, very rare to see an investor in venture capital, women investors. So thank you for joining us, Harsha. Naya, Priyanka, Harsha, thank you for coming on the She Shakti platform. Naya is a we can call you a serial entrepreneur now. She first co-founded Baby Chakra. She's now building Edition. Tell us a little about that and, you know, what keeps you motivated to start up? Did you want to do anything else?
So first of all, it's amazing to be here. It's amazing to see the energy in this room. And thank you for having me. I guess I am a serial entrepreneur. I have not slept in the last 10 years is all I can say.
I hope she can help you with that.
We were chatting about that
offline. Sleep company.
So honestly, I think there's so much of a joy and such a privilege to be able to build. My first company was Baby Chakra. You know this well, Chandra. You covered the acquisition as well and the exit journey. And it was done out of a very strong passion for maternal and child health. And it was a digital play, pure play, consumer tech play. With Edition, we're reimagining devices for the modern home. And we're looking at it from a lens of, you know, design meets tech meets the future of modern homes, right? So daily devices that power our lives, how do you reimagine them? Starting in India, but building for the world. It again comes from a very, very deep-rooted passion. The belief that when I moved back to India about 10 years back from Boston, I was often asked by everybody, why are you moving back to India? Kyun kar rahe ho? US mein reh jao. You know, you've just graduated from Harvard, stay back here, build your companies here. Yeah, it's better. But my belief was that India will build a global brand and a very design-led brand, technology-led brand for the world. And with Edition, we're really hoping that we are that next wave of entrepreneurs who does that.
Let's cheer Naya on. She wants to build a global brand out of Mumbai, not contributing to India's brain drain, so that's good news. But she mentioned sleep, and I have to come to Priyanka Salot. She's the co-founder of Sleep Company, a startup that's been doing really well. And it's now an omni-channel place, so she's not just selling online, but you would have seen, you know, Sleep Company stores in and around India, and she has some big investors like Kedara and Premji Invest. Priyanka, tell us about your journey. Why sleep? Why comfort? Did you find it difficult to sleep, therefore Sleep Company?
No, hi Chandra, hi everyone. Absolutely a pleasure to be here. So I think, you know, this whole journey started 7 years back when I became a mom. And, you know, I was always passionate about consumer brands. When I became a mom, see, before 30, you think you're superwoman, right? All of us think that sleep is not important. You can go sleepless for nights and nights and nights. And then a baby is born. And you are so sleepless every single night. I think ask any mom out here. You crave for a few hours of sleep, right? And your back goes for a toss because you're sitting and feeding most of the time. And that's the time this category just stuck me, Chandra. I realized two things. One, I realized a category where we spend literally 1/3 of our life was so ignored in this country. You know, from any spectrum, brands were not bothering, products were not great. So I realized the correlation between the importance of the category and what we were spending on the category was way off. And two, I think we realized that the product quality in the country was nowhere close to any developed countries like US, Europe. And I think that's where we became crazy. We said we need to change that. We need to make this country sleep better. And we started working on products that we, you know, it took us 1.5 years before we launched something which is patented. It's patented not just in India, it's patented across multiple countries. We call it Smart Grid technology. And, you know, our vision is now just to make the world sleep and sit better. And we've started that journey now 5.5 years back, and I think really disrupting India and making more and more consumers sleep better. And right. Maya, you know where you need to visit now, right?
She's doing her selling on stage.
Oh, absolutely.
A premium customer on the right and the left. But, you know, I would have never imagined that people will spend anywhere between 40,000 and 2.5 lakhs on mattresses. But that's the new India.
You know, I think it's a very most of the brands or people believe that consumers are not ready to spend. And I strongly believe two things. One, affordability is not a barrier. It's about, is the product worth the price or not? Is there value in it? Today we spend 1 lakh on a phone, right? Or iPhone or a Samsung, which most of us change every 2 to 3 years. Right? It's about, do you find value in that or not? So I don't think affordability is a problem. And today I think India is going through a huge disruption where consumer, one, I think the consumption story in India is phenomenal, right? Two, I think consumer want great products for them and their families. And I have seen that huge transformation specifically triggering after COVID. We all want great products. It's just that there wasn't supply of great products. Nobody bothered about it. And I think that's what we want to change.
Right. Harsha, these are the kind of entrepreneurs you look to invest in.
Yes, definitely.
But tell us about your journey as a VC. How has it been?
So I'm actually an accidental VC. First of all, thank you for having me here. I started my career as a chartered accountant, wanted to start a K-12 school for alternative pedagogy, spent 2 years trying to understand children in the classroom and then realized that's not my thing. So I have great amount of immense respect for women who've actually stepped into that entrepreneurship, because I realized what are the challenges when I was trying to do that for 2 years. So that has been my journey. For the last 9 years, I've been working with a VC fund, been recently a limited partner. I think what motivates me to continue on this journey is the kind of women I meet, the kind of opportunities which people are creating for themselves. It's not about somebody is giving them an opportunity. It's about them creating an opportunity for themselves. So I think that keeps me motivated.
You know, one thing that we keep hearing about is the number of women founders. As someone who evaluates investments, are you seeing an increase in the number of women entrepreneurs in India? Or do we need to do a lot to bridge that gap?
I think women as an entrepreneur has always been there. You know, you have those small mom and pop stores where the woman sits and manages the gala. Or you have this lady who's making achar and selling in the neighborhood. So as a woman, as an entrepreneur has always been there. The scale which has come now, the ambitions which have grown up now has increased. So that has definitely changed over the years.
But are you seeing more investments going into women-led ventures, or is that still a barrier?
I think two factors affect. One is the woman-led venture really done by the woman, or is it just you want to invest in a woman-led venture?
Right.
I think now we see more ventures which are coming in where they have actually spent, they are the brain behind the venture, and I think that is increased a lot.
Right. Naya and Priyanka, as you know, two women entrepreneurs who've successfully raised funding, exited, how have things changed with respect to the investing ecosystem in the last 10 years? Have biases come down, you know, gone away when it comes to investing?
So I definitely think it's changed, Chandra. The first time I remember raising my first round for my first company, there were a lot of random questions asked about, you know, when I would get pregnant, what would happen to the company then, etc., etc. To be fair, I've also had 10 years behind me. Nobody obviously is going to ask me those questions anymore. So I don't get asked those questions. Fundraising has been way easier this time around. It's been very easy relative to obviously the first time. But that said, has it trickled down effectively? Not sure. I think what has changed, however, is there are some stellar outcomes. If you look at Nykaa, look at IndiCube public
Mama
offering
Earth,
yesterday,
yeah.
Mama Earth, right? Some stellar outcomes led and spearheaded by women, which I think have shown people that you can build large, profitable, at-scale, value, accretive businesses and run by women, and not just, you know, of course, Kiran Mazumdar Shaw has been an
Biocon,
icon,
yeah.
but also new age consumer brands can be built. I think it needs to trickle down more. I still think the numbers are between 1 to 2% of total funding going to women-led ventures. That number is abysmally low.
Yeah, 1 to 2%.
You know, I think, Chandra, to add there, I also think it could be two things, one very sector specific and two very investor specific. And I'll give you an example, specifically one in consumer brands. To be honest, I think the ecosystem's changing, and it's not just about funding, because you do see women-led consumer brands.
Yeah.
And also, if you go back, let's look at consumer brand companies. Look at any Unilevers, P&Gs, Marico's. I spent 8 years at P&G, right? You do see a lot of skew of women because a lot of the products that you're selling, women is your target audience, and that's why you see more proportion of women in those consumer brand companies as well, right? That's why but however, let's say go to a sector like tech, you obviously would see less salience of women. Go back to engineering colleges, you would see less salience of women, right? So I think it is very sector specific. In consumer brands, I think we've been very lucky. I think have never been at there where you thought there was a bias.
Right.
Right. And to it, investors, there are some investors who understand consumer brands and understand that it doesn't matter it's a she or a he, right? Whoever has done a phenomenal job is good for the job, right? Whereas I think for some investors who don't understand consumer brands, maybe it could be a problem, right? Because they could have a bias against this. But I do think ecosystem is evolving. And also for me, it's not about, are you going to support women more or not more? It's about, I think you need to support who's the right person for the job. Right? I'm a hardcore believer of, and sometimes maybe, not to sound anti-feminist, but I think it's about the right person for the right role. You need to put out there.
And not just tokenism.
Oh, absolutely. But I do think it's important to give opportunity and make sure how do you grow women, right? Because I think being empowered or being financially independent, I always tell a lot of employees at the sleep company and women employees that I think it's so important to have an identity of your own, and so important in a very tangible way to be financially independent. I think it's very important in life.
Right. Naya, you're also a huge champion of everything Mumbai and Maharashtra. You lead the Entrepreneurs Association of Mumbai. When we speak to entrepreneurs here, what challenges or how is it different from operating in Bangalore, where I'm based, they talk about talent density, they talk about network effects, the ecosystem there is really strong, and they talk about the high rentals in Mumbai. What would your challenges be, or what are the opportunities, what are the advantages of building from Mumbai vis-a-vis building from Bangalore, building from NCR?
So just for the folks who don't know, I'm part of the governing council of the Tech Entrepreneurs Association of Mumbai. That's a non-profit we started about 2 years back. And it's a bunch of us unicorn founders, about 60, actually about 30 of us started off, expanded to about 60. Now we're a 100-member community of founders, also younger emerging founders. And the whole premise of it is absolutely to build that community of tech founders in Mumbai, in Maharashtra. I think what's been really interesting is two things that we've seen play out. So just in February this year, we did the Mumbai Tech Week, which was the largest AI summit, one of the largest AI summits in India. We had 10,000 people come into the Geo World Center, the Geo NMACC, 10,000 people. And people realized then, a lot of them, by the way, were from Mumbai, Maharashtra, like Pune, the greater Mumbai area. And there is actually massive talent density, especially tech talent density. If you think about Geo, you think about Navi Mumbai extensions, you think about all of the GCCs being set up, the data centers being set up. A lot of activity in Maharashtra that's actually happening. Also manufacturing, we're talking about that right now, right? So I'm looking at consumer hardware and therefore looking at the manufacturing hardware channels, right? Pune to Bombay, that road itself is full of a lot of the manufacturing facilities. So there's actually a lot of talent in Maharashtra. I think the difference is it's spread out. It's not concentrated in certain specific regions. And that's something that we're working with the government, actually with the CM's office directly, on ensuring we build out almost like a hub, if you will.
In fact, the CM's going to be here
later today, yes. So we're working very closely with his office at Kaustubh there as well to ensure that we can create hubs of talent and the network effects thereof. Secondly, rentals is an issue, but there's again work happening on that front. But the third thing that's very positive for Maharashtra, where else will you see? It's almost like this microcosm at scale. So if you launch or test a consumer or a tech product in Bombay, in a go, right? You're basically reaching out to everybody in India because Bombay is the heartbeat of everything fintech, financial services, consumer, media, the cultural capital, if you will, the consumer capital of India. Also the capital of India, right? Because it's where all the funds are, the financial capital of India, right? So this is the place that we encourage a lot of entrepreneurs to try and test because it scales much faster if it scales in Bombay.
Right. Priyanka, you have an entire manufacturing setup in Bhiwandi. Tell us about that.
So we, as the sleep companies, as I was saying, completely backward integrated, right? We do our own manufacturing. And from day zero, we've had that manufacturing unit. I think what's been amazing, which has been working very well, one is I think it's very, as a state, it's very friendly towards manufacturing, both to get real estate, because, manufacturing needs big space. So our factory is in the outskirts of Bhiwandi. So the whole area has huge hubs of either manufacturing or warehousing, right? So I think real estate is easily available and low rentals. Two, you can easily get manpower for manufacturing setups. I think, there's been no problem. Third, if you see for any consumer brand, right, or specifically any product, you need the whole ecosystem of logistics. Your digital bond, you need to ship. And I think the whole ecosystem, Bhiwandi or Bombay, is a very big hub of logistics. Look at any top 5 partners, and you would find all of them in Bhiwandi, which really makes it easier for obviously brands like us. Two, we were laughing with one of our investors, early investors is Fireside Ventures. And today, if you see number-wise, their maximum portfolio companies are now in Bombay and not in Bangalore and not in NCR.
So are you asking them to relocate?
They've got a small office. So that's why we've always been laughing with them that you need to have your main office in Bombay and not in Bangalore, right? But, and I do think earlier I would hear, and I'll tell you 3 years back, Fireside would tell us that, guys, you need to have an office in Bangalore. And I said, so you want the founders to separate? Me and my husband both are the co-founders. I said, do you want us to separate and run each of the office? Because the problem was 3 years back, you did have some problem of finding talent in certain sectors. And specifically tech was a field where you did have problem in finding talent, right? Today, to be honest, I think the scenario has changed, right? You get talent across the ecosystem. And as Naya said, it surprised me, when we realized we were hiring so many people in our tech team from outskirts, right? Like Navi Mumbai, Thane, and it's full of talent. And the good thing is they didn't have opportunity, right? Now and good thing, if you look at Bangalore, there is so much of competition, right? Everybody is going crazy to get talent. You don't have that in Bombay so much till now.
Salaries you don't have to keep increasing. And
right, so still it's the best of both the worlds. You don't have to really fight for talent so much. There's good supply of talent across. So I think it's been an amazing system. We were born here. The sleep company, it's very special to us. And we will always be here. We would want to build a global made in Maharashtra brand.
Round of applause for that ambition. But Harsha, tell us about the stamp duty rates and how that impacts startups who want to register in Maharashtra.
So we were talking offline yesterday, and we were just talking it. Smaller companies do find raising capital, getting agreements registered, etc. difficult here. But I think what they don't realize is that there is a lot of other operating support which you can get. I think what things like these, they mentioned manufacturing hub, yes. If you're talking about pure software talent, probably yes, Bangalore has developed that ecosystem over the period of years, but it's not that it is only concentrated there. So yeah, I mean, for founders in Mumbai, the biggest challenge comes is when they are at a very, very nascent stage. I think once they have scaled up, I think manufacturing, etc., this is the place to be.
Right.
And just to add to that, when I moved back from Boston, I actually flipped a coin. I didn't know which city I'd moved to. It came to be Bombay versus Bangalore. It landed in Bombay. I showed
You're the
up
lucky
here.
one.
We lost out.
But it's so safe, Chandra. Like I was working, and even now we're working till 2, 3 a.m. sometimes because you have to when you're starting up again. Early days as well. You could catch a taxi back. You can catch a bus back. You can, it's so safe for women to work out of Bombay. I think we all kind of experience it firsthand. And number two, I think just look at the loyalty and the efficiency that team members have here. Tech teams in Bombay, and I think we've all seen that, have a significantly higher level of efficiency and loyalty than bluntly tech teams in Bangalore too.
Right. I think we're running out of time. So just closing thoughts. One thing that you would like to see change about the city.
Infrastructure. I think it needs to change.
Well, we have Ashwini Bire next, so we'll put that question to her.
I think, something which all of us do.
I actually think the infra has been amazing. I mean, you look at the coastal roads, etc., in certain areas, but real
Only
estate,
after you cross the ceiling.
After-
The infrastructure is amazing after you cross the ceiling. Now, before you cross the ceiling.
But I definitely think like
No,
real
I think
estate.
both of you need to talk to Ashwini
Yeah,
on the infrastructure.
I think the real estate costs. I wish there were more pockets of land I know there are, that they're opening up, and I'm really optimistic that for, our mid-management, our junior team members, the commute to work is very high right now. So I want that to change.
Right. Harsha, final word?
I think Maharashtra as a state needs to look beyond Mumbai and Pune. I come from Nagpur, so maybe that's my extra connection. But I think there is a
Well,
lot
Divya
more.
Deshmukh is from Nagpur, right? The
Huh?
chess champion.
Yes. So I think there are a lot of pockets, Aurangabad, Nagpur, probably Solapur, Kolhapur side also, which need to be developed, and that's where we need to focus on that. Okay, there is possibility of expansion there.
Right. On that note, thank you very much. A huge round of applause for these founders and investors building out of Bombay, and they want to build world-class brands from Maharashtra. Thank you very much, Naya, Priyanka, and Harsha.
Thank you.